I'm going to go through the most important tools you'll need to go alongside your Cricut, making sure you don't buy anything that you're not going to use. Number 1, a Cricut machine. I'm not even sure this one needs to be on the list, as I hope it's an obvious one, but you'll need a Cricut machine. I have the Cricut Maker 3, so everything in this video will be appropriate for that, but most of these will apply to pretty much all of the Cricut machines. Number 2, mats. You will need mats for cutting different types of materials. I have the blue, green and purple mats. I use the blue mat for cardstock, the green mat for vinyl and faux leather, and the purple mat for natural wood veneer. There is also a pink mat for things like felt as well. If you know you're only likely to stick with vinyl, the green mat will be all you need because the green mat covers a lot of different materials, but let's face it, we bought a Cricut to make everything that we can, right? A little tip is to keep the plastic cover the mats come with on them to keep them as grippy as possible, and to note which way is face up so that you always put the same side of the cover back onto the mat. There are different size mats, so make sure to get the right one for your project and for your machine. My mats are 12 inches by 12 inches, and I started buying the Cricut branded mats, and then I've shifted to trying a random brand from Amazon, and some of them are better than others, so you can of course venture outside of the world of Cricut branded mats and accessories, as you'll find out later on in this video. Vinyl. There are lots of different types of vinyl, so it can be really tricky to know where to start. First up, we have smart vinyl. This vinyl can be cut without a mat, so you can just load it to your Cricut and cut straight away. This sounds wonderful until you realise that this only works when the vinyl has a straight edge. I tend to use a guillotine to cut across the length of the vinyl when I'm done with the project so that I can use the whole roll of smart vinyl again, and I keep the leftovers for scraps for a different project in the future. Any scraps can then be used on your mats. We then have permanent and removable vinyl. I tend to use the permanent vinyl more often, and I use them for things like decorations, personalising cups and tumblers, and signs. I've only used removable vinyl a couple of times for sticker projects. For example, I did a small window decoration for Christmas last year in removable vinyl, so I could take it off when the time came. It was a little bit trickier to come off, and I'm not a fan of removable vinyl, so I do try to go with permanent vinyl if I can. We then have HTV, or heat transfer vinyl, or everyday iron-on vinyl. So this is vinyl that you want to use on cloth, so making things like bags, t-shirts, or anything similar that you can think of. You will of course need a way to adhere it to your material, like using a heat press, which we'll talk about later. With vinyl, you also have the tricky decision of colour choice. I bought a bundle from Cricut when I first started, so I have lots of different colours, but I did end up with a huge roll of yellow, which I can't imagine that I'll use very much. And to be fair, I tend to use that for stencils and odd bits and bobs when I need a piece of scrap vinyl. I got a lot of whites, reds, blacks, silver and gold in different types of vinyl, which I do use quite a lot. I then bought holographic vinyl for a work project and add to my collection as and when I need to. It's quite quick and easy to get your hands on vinyl, so I'd wait until you need more colours for something specific once you've got your first few colours in hand. They can be quite expensive, so again you can go for Cricut branded or try a different brand. There are plenty out there to choose from, so you can see what works for you. Transfer tape. If you're using vinyl, you'll be wanting transfer tape. This is what you use to apply your vinyl to your blank. I have one very big roll of transfer tape, and I have plenty left, and that has lasted me for over a year. It's very easy to keep scraps of transfer tape and use them, and you can actually reuse transfer tape. So if you're making a few things at once, you can reuse that transfer tape until the stickiness wears off, and you can actually keep it until later if you want to. So it lasts for a very long time. I have the standard grip transfer tape, and the only thing that it has not worked on at the moment is gold shimmer vinyl, but then I found out that the gold shimmer actually has its own strong grip transfer tape on the inside of the roll. So luckily I didn't need anything else, and that transfer tape works really, really well, so just have a look inside those bigger tubes if you are working with shimmer. Next, we move on to tools. Within my essentials bundle that I bought, I received an essentials toolkit. Little did I know that when I ordered the heat press bundle, I would also receive the same set of tools and extra ones too. Clearly, I don't need both, but some tools are definitely necessary. The most important tool for me is the weeding tool. I use this pretty much every time I use the Cricut, and you'll need it for weeding vinyl and probably even to help poke out little bits of material from card, wood, faux leather and more. Next up is scissors. You'll be cutting your vinyl down all of the time, especially when you're trying to save scraps, so you will definitely need scissors. You can of course use any scissors you want to, but I like that these ones come with a little cap to keep the blade safe. Along the same lines, I also use a portable trimmer to cut down vinyl, and this is really useful when I cut back the smart vinyl. The scraper tool is one that I'd never come across before, but again use it for every single vinyl project. This is used to help attach the vinyl to the transfer tape, and then from the transfer tape to your final blank, which is of course super important. We then have the scoring stylus, which is great for putting lines in things like cards so that they are easy to fold. I have used this quite a few times for cards, so that might be worth thinking about if that's a project that you're likely to do. I then also have a whole set of weeding tools that I honestly don't know what they're used for, so they live in a cupboard. A tape measure. This is so important for measuring everything. I just use one from my sewing box, which is really old, but honestly couldn't make any of my projects without it. Materials. This is where it gets interesting and potentially more expensive. You will need materials. I highly recommend thinking about what projects you want to make and then just buy for that project, although unfortunately this isn't something I live by because I get excited and buy a million things. So materials that you might want include cardstock, which is just another way of saying card, so as to not be confused with cardboard. So this is good for paper crafts, anything like making cards for special occasions or fun things like shadow boxes. Natural wood veneer. This is good for making slightly more durable projects than with cards such as cake toppers or decorations. This can be expensive though. Faux leather, this is pretty cheap, all things considered. I think I got 30 A5 sheets for somewhere between £5 to £10, and I've used this for bookmarks and wire holders. Of course, there are so many more materials, so choose your projects wisely. One thing I would say is to think about what else you'll need if using a new piece of material. For example, you might need a new blade for your machine, or you might just need some glue. I've had to buy extra things like cocktail sticks or skewers, acrylic paints, glue, and snap fasteners, so you might want to look into the price of all of these things as well. Blanks. Now we are getting into the fun stuff. You will need blanks. Sometimes the materials you use like faux leather will be all you need, otherwise you'll need something to apply your material to. For example, if you're making stickers for the kitchen, you'll need containers to put them on. Chances are you'll likely have these already, but what about t-shirts for using iron-on vinyl? I bought pots, plates, acrylic bookmarks, acrylic baubles, PJs, onesies, and honestly so much more. It can be tricky to find small quantities. I now have 100 bookmarks and thus far have only used 5. I like going into my local craft shop where I can often buy individual blanks, but they cost me much more. So for example, it would cost me more to buy 5 acrylic bookmarks than it would be to buy 100 acrylic bookmarks online. Bonkers, but that is what we are dealing with. I recommend looking in Facebook groups for recommendations for websites for blanks. These have tended to be where I've bought the cheapest and coolest blanks from, and you can often buy just one if you want to. Other machines. Going back to vinyl, if you're using HTV or everyday iron-on vinyl, you'll not only need your t-shirt blanks, but you'll need some sort of heat press. I have the Easy Press 3, but there are lots of other brands of heat press as well. I know technically you could use an iron, but it will be much harder to control the temperature and you may end up ruining part of your projects. So I would highly recommend a heat press. With my heat press, I do have to put quite a lot of pressure on the heat press, so if you know that t-shirts are going to be the thing you do, you might want to consider something where you don't have to actively press down like I do. I always buy my bigger purchases like this when there are deals on or events like Black Friday. Blades. I have mentioned blades, so let's go into that. The Cricut comes with a fine point blade, which is great for vinyl and card. I then bought a deep point blade to cut natural wood veneer. I use my engraving tip for my acrylic projects like baubles, and I'm actually really happy with this one, but now need to just use it more. The last blade or similar item I bought is the foil transfer kit, which comes with 3 tips. I haven't had time to use this one much, but I have used it for Christmas cards, which I think are really cool. Instructions. Now this last one is of course optional. Your Cricut does not come with instructions. There are a few simple projects Design Space will show you, but otherwise you're pretty much on your own. You can use YouTube videos, which of course is what I personally prefer, and there are books too. I would say that as Design Space changes frequently, books can become outdated the same year you buy them, which happened to me with the first book I bought. You might be a pro at designing and editing, in which case you may not need any extra help at all. An option you might want to invest in is SVG files or projects. I bought a few from Etsy that came with great instructions. I've also used projects within Design Space. I do pay for access to Design Space at the moment, so I do have quite a lot of choice there, but you can also use sites like Creative Fabrica as well. I honestly bought Design Space Access because it gave me a great discount on my Cricut, and I've so far been using a lot of the paid elements too. I know some people don't like the paid for aspect, but so far for me so good, and I will try and venture out of my Cricut Access world soon. That might seem like a huge list of essentials, but once you've started to make projects, you will hopefully only need to buy 1 or 2 bits at a time depending on the project you're working on. Now, what is one essential that you can't live without?